What about this? How's this hitting you?
I think that's actually what he went in when he went down. That looks
Yeah, no, this
exactly
is,
like,
it is.
what a coincidence. So surprised. That's probably the last picture of James Cameron to
It's
ever
the last
exist.
picture to exist.
Guys, it's so weird. Usually when the countdown goes down, I can see you two on here, but currently I'm only getting the pot through, and also I see myself. But they seem to have they haven't quite worked out the kinks, but they seem to be trying to utilize the green room I'm in for kind of a green screen effect. Fortunately, they haven't lit this old side of the face, so I can see the light that's supposed to be lighting it. It's just a little bit too high. I should probably bring that down a little bit. But yeah, I'm not sure. You guys, have you been discussing something beforehand? Because there seems to be a very topical green screen behind me, and it does explain all of the weird packages I've been getting this week.
What sort of packages?
Well, they've all been different types of games. So I've got Uno. I've got Boss Monster. I've got Weird Things Humans Search for, One Night Ultimate Wealth. They're all card games. Other issue was that I don't know whether they thought about this, but all of these card games require another person to play them with. And I've really been struggling to learn the rules when it's just been myself doing it.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know whether you guys have had any card-related paraphernalia kind of sent your way.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I don't know what the word. So what was that word again?
You said card games.
Card games.
What is a card game? I know, like a deck
card
of cards.
Game. Well,
is this like poker or?
Well, no, it's not
one of the
poker.
Other ones.
These are like, I've been getting like a lot of like homemade card games, like Uno. I don't know whether you've played Uno. It's very big in the East Country, the Siberian wastes of the UK where I live. Where basically because normal playing cards can't withstand the cold temperatures, we tend to have to resort to sturdier, warmer cards such as Uno cards.
Are they made of wool or what?
No, they're made of normal card material. I don't know.
Warmer in sleeves.
Yeah, I think.
What a novel concept.
Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. But you've got you basically get numbers and you can like slap them down and you have to like match them.
What do the numbers do?
It's
Is it
kind of
like a 3 of hearts or?
No, they're like red, blue, yellow, and green. Why would it be hearts? That's quite a weird thing.
Like diamonds.
To categorize.
Spades, maybe.
Spades.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. These seem very weird ways to sort your cards. Whereas here in the Siberian wastes, we just go for simple color coordination.
Chris, I so often find that we struggle with our immense cultural barrier.
Yeah.
The rift. I feel it's only widening as the episodes go on somehow.
I mean, now we can't even see each other.
I know. I feel like I'm losing touch with you guys.
Yeah. All I've got is a weird icon where you used to be, and that icon looks like an old man with slicked back hair and looks nothing like you at all.
I can't even begin to think what that would be about. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting you've been talking about cards, because I had a bit of sort of hashtag shower thoughts moment. And I came up with this idea. I was thinking.
You have a shower?
I have a shower.
We're not getting into showers.
No, this isn't showers. That's a different episode, Chris. Shut up. No, I was thinking, because I love good deck of cards. I love poker. I love rummy, bridge. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. All these sorts of things. They're great fun. I was thinking, why those cards? Why do we always play with that exact kind of standardized deck? I don't think that's. I feel like what if we had like a wide range of different cards, and we could choose which cards to put in the deck that we like to play with, and then
match attacks.
You could what's
like,
match attacks?
Sorry, are you saying a non-standardized deck of cards?
Well, so there is a standardized array of cards you could choose to put in your deck, like I'm not really sure. I'm kind of ahead of myself here, but maybe you could play like your deck of cards. You could somehow interact and play a game with another person's deck of cards, and see who had the better deck of cards, and see who played the deck of cards better.
You see, there's something similar where I come from, where we have a thing called match attacks, and
tell us about
basically they're about. Do you guys watch it? I don't know whether you have this. I know there's a couple of teams from your side of the UK, but it's called football. Something that I'd love to talk about in another episode.
Oh, we call it Crumpington.
Oh, Crumpington.
Crumpington.
Yeah.
I've heard people call it football before, but
yeah. So basically, we get these cards which have all of the players on them, and basically you get to collect the cards, and they come in these randomized packs where you can get it. So I'm thinking, but you can't really do anything with the match attack cards. I mean, they've tried stuff in the past, but it's never really taken off. But really, what I think basically having that randomized selection of cards, because it's trying to collect like your favorite players, get that randomized selection, but have it that those, from what I'm understanding, having those cards have attributes that would make them useful at kind of say in like, I don't know how to explain it, like kind of they can like attack or impact another card in some way to like gain that card into your hand or like eliminate that card from play. This is all very new stuff to me.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the idea.
I feel like we've stumbled onto a very
absolutely.
Like it's an interesting concept, and certainly one that has the legs to go
very far.
At least 2 episodes.
At least 2 episodes.
At least 2 episodes.
So Match Attacks is about Crumpington players.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's it's kind of like Crumpington players. I think you can always get new players in. The only issue is that I feel like with the addition of more cards, you might have the risk that when you're thinking through abilities, the later cards may become more powerful than the previous cards. So I don't know whether this concept would
the previous cards.
Yeah.
I understand that concept. I don't know what it's called.
But I feel like certainly in the short term, I think we can make a podcast out of this. But in the long term, I just don't see the concept having legs, because I don't see why people want to invest in cards originally when they know in 4 to 5 years' time those cards would become basically inadequate to the newer cards.
See, you're describing a stagnated and depressed player base, but what I'm hearing is a player base that is continually incentivized to purchase new packs of these cards. And that feels to me like a pretty stand-up business model. I think we've got something here, chaps, for once.
Yeah, I feel
not
like
only do we have a podcast idea,
I like
we also have just a business idea.
Yeah, I think it's a slightly manipulative business model, which is on the edge of gambling. But because it's cards and kids love playing games, it is something that we can justify selling to younger audiences.
Especially if we style the cards to be more appealing towards them.
So, right, this brings... So we've got to have a sort of central theme to these cards. I don't know what...
Okay.
I feel like Crumpington players is kind of flawed. I mean, because you have to have the player exist before you can make a card off them.
And we don't want to have a lawsuit.
You need to understand. Yeah,
it's a complicated sport. I don't really follow it myself.
According to him, it already exists as attack matches or something.
Yeah,
attack matches. Yeah.
So he said something like that.
Match attacks.
That's the one.
But yeah, I'm thinking when I was at school, what did I spend most of my time doing? And it was different subjects. So I think if we picked something from one of those schools, like maths,
educational as well.
Parents are going to love this.
Exactly, which is a perfect way of getting over the whole gambling malarkey.
I think maths. There's a lot of things you can do with maths, but I don't think that you can. I don't think kids would be interested in picking up a deck and getting. Oh, I've got imaginary numbers spell card or something like that, like an effect card. I feel like maths isn't very marketable, but I think there's a lot we can do with maths. So I think maths should definitely be a component, but not the main feature.
People love numbers and stats and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, I think maths is certainly going to be an easy way for the different cards to interact with each other. It might get a bit confusing if you're then designing the card.
What were your guys' favourite subjects at school?
And having maths in them.
Yeah.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Matt. There.
Yeah. What were your favourite subjects? Because maybe if I find out what you guys loved at school in your subjects, then maybe that's a great starting off point for us to be like, well, if kids enjoyed that when they were younger from our small focus group, then evidently, all kids must love that.
That tracks. Yep.
Tracks. So I don't know.
I mean, we are the most diverse group I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely even...
You call football crumpington, and you call football. I don't even know what football is.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know. I feel like we'll start off with the pot. You're quite an intelligent guy. Otherwise, why would you be wearing glasses?
So he's got a guitar in the background.
That tracks.
I feel like we're definitely marketing towards a more nerdy audience. I feel like you and Jacko W, I feel like you seem to be more nerdy, a lot more in on kind of what's happening on the internet. So I feel like you definitely be the best one for it, and then we'll see whether Jack agrees.
Okay. Sure. Well, I mean, I was always quite interested in history and science and stuff, but I don't know. History has potential.
History has some potential.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, the antithesis to history is obviously geography.
Yeah, see, I don't know about you. I loved geography as a kid, but I wasn't too into the whole countries nonsense. I was, I like the hills and shit. It's way more fun.
Yeah, I think
dynamic
countries,
and exciting.
Definitely, there would be issues with us kind of.
Giving
a power rank to different countries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel like we might also, it's going to limit the sales of this card game to certain countries if we're making some better than others.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of favouritism at play.
But I like the idea of geographic structures because you kind of have simple, very basic, simple ones like hills or kind of plains or like metamorphic rock. And then you can expand to volcanoes, tsunamis, and igneous rocks.
I'm loving it. We could have cards that represent a thing, and then we could have cards that represent an action.
Okay.
Like a sort of
an effect
spell
that
almost.
Happens.
Effect. Yeah, exactly. Like a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
We could have different rocks.
So,
and then we can have things that we could do to the rocks.
So to understand, for example, a coast, like a coast or a cliff, that would be kind of a object, a thing card.
Yeah.
And then coastal erosion.
Precisely.
Would be an effect
or like an earthquake.
Or an earthquake.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think this can work.
Avalanche. I don't know about you guys, but avalanches happen all the time here.
Really?
Due to the exceedingly mountainous terrain that I live within.
Oh man, it sounds. How does anyone play Crumpington out there? Where'd you find
Crumpington? Well, it tends to be at the home games. The home team always has the advantage because they are playing downhill.
Okay.
All the ones that try to have their home going uphill never really tend to take off as well.
All right.
It's a very balanced game.
We've got a perfect. Okay. So what should we have as the sort of the core gameplay? We have these object cards and what sort of statistics and numbers and mechanics should be on these cards, right? We've got to find we've got to find a list of things that would apply to all different geological objects, not just some of them, because you want it to be nice and simple, right? So you want to have the same stats on every single one. So we could have hardness, something like that, or make
I think definitely the final one should be wow factor.
Wow factor's good.
I like adding rarity to wow factor. I think maybe having our rarity based on how wow factor the
we could have, I like the idea of putting the most important stat right at the top, right? Making it really sort of, like you say, like a wow factor, right? So like we could have wow rating.
Wow rating, I like it.
Or just wow, even just call it wow.
It's wow.
The kids will know what we mean.
Or we could do.
How are we scaling this rating? Is it like 1 to 5 stars? Is it?
I like. Yeah, no, that's quite interesting.
Levels.
Is it? Like stars.
Are we including stars in geological constructs though? Because I don't want there to be confusion of having stars in the top right and then us having a star card later on down the road. Like if we do a space expansion pack.
Oh, he's not wrong.
I think maybe having like some sort. I like the idea of rarity where we have kind of a common, an uncommon, a rare, and the rarest.
Okay.
Like the rare. I
like rarest. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any other term more extreme than rare, other than rarest.
What about ultra rare?
Ultra rare. I like ultra rare.
Well, what's the sort of what's the extreme of rareness? Like
ultra rare, I'd say.
Invisible.
Secret rare.
Secret.
Everyone loves secrets.
Rare.
I think instead of having secret rare, we can just have secret.
I like I think that we'll just have shush ...
And then in italics, like a small, very small and very hard to read secret after shh.
Okay.
So people would be like, "What's a shh card?" But because of the secret cards, people look close and like, "Oh, I've got a."
How's that?
A secret card. I can't see it, and that's perfect.
That's that sounds like it fits the job description.
Yeah.
To make it slightly more recognizable, but without sort of sacrificing the secretness of it, I'll just put more dots, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so we've got the we've got the kind of rarity, which we could. That's another aspect of the monetization. We could have the rarity being a literal rarity as well as just like its intrinsic rarity. As like,
you're talking in terms of like
the card packs.
Number of prints.
Yeah, exactly. We could have like a limited edition.
And I think also if we have kind of rarity, as you were saying, to like psychologically manipulate children, what we could do is that we could give the higher rarity cards like the most powerful kind of features, like make them straight up stronger than the common ones. So then people will spend more money on more cards, and we can just keep giving them common cards until they get legendary cards and they can get a dopamine hit and they can start getting addicted. And I think, we could seriously get like a lot of lobbying from gambling companies to like start introducing kids to the whole concept of it. I think it's brilliant.
Loving it. This is great stuff. Okay, so we've got this. So I thought we'd have two different sort of basic types of card. So we've got, I think the rarity is a good thing to have on both of them. Yeah. So I'm gonna copy paste.
We want some things to be ubiquitous, so then people kind of have a standard to work at.
Right. Don't know if this is working at all. It didn't work. You know what? We're getting there. It's slow going. Okay, sometimes you're not.
You know what? Sure you are completely correct though, and what I remember you messaging me about. You sent me a letter about this. That your GIMP, because I have it at home before I got to get this job, looks really old-fashioned in comparison to my GIMP.
Yeah, it's I don't know why.
Is it just worth maybe just typing it out again?
Yeah, you know what?
Just copy it and then add a new just copy the text, then make a new text box and then copy the text across.
It's like it's kind of almost daring me to just give up right now. It's weird. I'm just gonna type it out, but I'm not feeling good. I feel I'm not gonna lie, chaps. I feel quite defeated.
It's okay.
Okay, so right, whilst I'm doing this, why don't you guys? It's not all about me. So
right, so yeah, we're talking. You want two
cover for me that you're not doing a good
You
job.
want, you want, you want. I'm sorry, Chris is gone. You want two different types of card. You want your objects and
we've got our objects
kind of
and our
action
effects. Yeah.
effect cards.
Okay.
So
first off,
what are we gonna? So the
I don't know
effect
about you
cards
guys,
gonna
but
directly affect the object cards.
Well, if they only affected the other effect cards, I feel like you'd sort of just be playing.
I
two
feel
separate
like
games,
we shouldn't limit what the effect cards can affect. Maybe they can affect other effect cards, and such. But I think
they're kind of a more generalized.
I think to identify the card, normally you'd imagine a title whenever you're starting something. But I'm thinking, and this might be because you're not very good at this whole software that you're using. But there are these big black boxes that have appeared, and I think maybe having a picture of the effect or object there, kind of like, I think kids, they don't like reading.
I mean, yeah.
Let's see what we can do for that.
We do need some sort of visual, engaging thing for children to look at, because as much as they're going to want to play with the cards, they want to know what they're like. They don't just want to be reading numbers all day.
No, I agree with you.
Dealing with numbers and
so
words.
let's have a sort of generic. Okay, well, I know. We'll start with a basic kind of. I think something like just a regular like a metal or just.
Well, you've set it up that I'm assuming on the left we're having the objects, and on the right we are having a common effect. So I think really what we're looking for is a super cool secretive object.
Yeah. What would be a good super cool secret
on? I mean, the most super cool. I was
thinking of something like a natural wonder.
Oh,
in terms of,
I was thinking similar to the natural wonder. I was thinking
natural wonder's good.
Mariana Trench in.
That's very secret as well.
Yeah, that's very secret because
can't see it.
So if we can't see it, how are we supposed to get a good like piece of art for it?
I think James Cameron went down there.
I'll just get a picture of him.
Some pictures got sent.
That'll get the idea across.
Yeah, some pictures came up, but he never actually came out of the trench, and a lot of people think he did die down there.
Oh, that's a real shame. I've got to say. Yeah. Okay, I think this looks like it'll do the job.
To be honest, after the Leviathan attacked after he got sent down, it could always be where Aquaman lives, because we've not really figured that one out yet. That would lead credence to us finally figuring out where they took Atlantis after we lost it in a game of poker. Just a little history lesson for us.
What about this? How's this hitting you?
I think that's actually what he went in when he went down.
What a
coincidence. So surprised. That's probably the last picture of James Cameron to ever exist.
Okay.
And you know what? He was working on all those Avatar movies, so I think, if anyone's going to be the face of our greedy monetization scheme of selling this to children, James Cameron definitely on top there. And I cannot wait for, in his stead, since he's gone, to see what they do with those Avatar movies, because apparently they were supposed to be making more than one of those.
You're getting off, getting very off topic. We're meant to be doing. We're
just filling time for you to. I don't want to go on to the next image whilst you're struggling to get James Cameron on.
It's okay.
You've currently covered the rarity.
I know.
Okay, let's think of a common offense. Now, I don't know about you, but them volcanoes keep popping off, don't they? It's like every other day. Volcano killed a family of 10.
Or like flooding.
Flooding's pretty good.
Flooding's
not pretty good. Flooding's bad, but you know what I mean.
We don't really get flooding. We just get glaciers here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, what kind of famous floods could we put on there? I think when that wizard in ancient times, Moses, picked up the Red Sea and just smashed it on the Egyptians. That was a pretty iconic part of flooding. He split it in two, made everyone think it was safe to go, and they all went in this is great, he's given us more land. And whilst he was letting his people go through, thanks, wizard boy. And then he was like, haha, nerds, and he shut it off, and they all drowned. And that's why the Dead Sea is so salty, because when they died, they were so salty about being tricked.
They cried so many tears.
Cried so many tears that the entire ocean became so salty you can now float on it.
Well, that's a fantastic story from history, Christopher. I'm not entirely sure where you're going with it.
I'm just saying that, like, maybe that's a flood we want to put on the card.
Fantastic. There we go.
Like, maybe Moses parting the Red Sea. I believe he did it with a Beyblade, so if you could get that picture up.
No, I'm pretty sure that's right, yeah.
Let it rip, right?
As it says in the Bible, let it rip.
And Moses let it rip.
Let it rip. Oh God. Okay.
In the distance, the man calleth Blade. It's
It's his little theme song. So
I really love the fact that the Bible didn't need to go and give every character in it a theme song, but they did. It was very sweet. I really like Jesus' one. I can't remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
I actually don't.
Oh God! I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time since I watched the Bible when I was a kid.
Watched the
on
Bible.
Saturday mornings.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Saturday morning, The Adventures of Jesus Christ. And Iron Man.
I'm pretty sure they split it into two series at least.
Yeah.
You guys have gotten depressingly off topic here.
I'm just waiting for you to get these pictures
bro.
in.
Well,
anyway,
you can fill time with doing the job we're here to do.
What do you mean doing the job? You still haven't got the next picture done. We're going to forget what part of the job we've talked about. Look, it's fine. It's fine. You don't need that. You can pretty it up in post. It doesn't need. It's fine at this point. It's fine. Just leave it. Just get the next picture going.
No.
This can take ages if you.
I figured it out. Shut up, you nan. There we go. Okay, now it looks lovely. Right, what's okay? Start.
Moses ripping a Beyblade into the Dead Sea, I believe.
That is perfect.
Believe.
Right, where is it? I'm typing Moses Beyblade in. Okay, you know what? I found it exactly. Yep, here we are. Now why is this the comment here? This can't be a comment.
This can't be a comment. Yeah, but it's just represent flooding. And I think, like, with flooding, we could put a random flood in, but I think we put an iconic flood in. And then basically...
Here it is.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. And maybe we can have an alternate variant later on where we have Moses, like, in a later expansion pack. Like, maybe if we make the card kind of shiny... or maybe thing, because then even though we're just printing the same card, because it looks slightly different, kids are so stupid they'll just eat it up.
Kids are so fucking stupid.
Not that all kids are stupid. I don't want to insult our any viewers. If you are young and you're into card games, you're not stupid. Buy our game. But seriously,
right.
you know.
Well, we
need titles for
how
these. I like how
it's
Moses
the
is
Marianas
so powerful.
Trench
Some of him's going into the James Cameron picture.
He's a powerful guy, right?
I think we need to sort of. He's too powerful. He's
too powerful.
Is he the insta win? You draw this card, you win the game.
I don't know how to. Alright, current layer
Control
only.
Z.
Why?
Yeah.
You'd think that current layer only would be the default for cropping things, but nope. Okay.
So, our James Cameron Marianas Trench is our object, right?
Yeah.
It's
the
Mariana
It's
Trench.
actually the Mariana Trench. I need to. I will. Yeah, we'll put in some.
I think we need somewhere for like the card name.
Yes. Yeah.
To
No,
be
I agree.
written on.
Okay.
But with, like, so for
And I
the
think the
Marianas Trench
effect
one,
is
we need
summon
some
flood.
kind of like we need some like descriptive terms of how that's going to actually impact the other cards that are being played at the. I mean, we also need to. I mean, we need to be thinking about how these cards are going to get played down in the first place. You know, is there
Well,
an infinite
I think if we
number of cards being played at any one time
Oh yeah, we
possible,
have to have
or
some
is
kind
there
of
like
intrinsic cost to the individual cards.
is there a cost in even summoning?
Do
I
I-
guess.
I think
Summoning?
you might have a package coming. By the way,
Yeah, I heard the eponymous Craggle.
I heard the eponymous Craggle making his way over, checking in.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what he brings.
He might have. I think he's heard about our card game. He wants in on it.
He knows a good idea when he hears one. He's got extraordinary business sense, does Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think definitely what I would suggest is maybe how flooding kind of like it basically goes everywhere, doesn't it? The water just goes everywhere. So I think
it does get everywhere.
God damn! He's very angry that you're not paying attention to his brilliant card design ideas.
Sorry, give me one.
I think that might be I love earlier was the we'll see whether he's after me, and immediately Crackle's just gone to the door and screamed. I don't get this. He just politely knocks whenever he comes to mine.
He's so cordial the rest of the time.
So cordial rest of the time. Oh, look at him in all of his glory.
What do you think?
That was a very sad. That was very quiet, muted for the old Craggle.
That was like a sneeze almost, or like the opposite, a sniffle.
Plating the whole dang sea. Wow factor common. I think when you're causing a flood, a lot of objects tend to flood. So I think maybe it causing a flood effect to all of the cards that are currently dealt out. Maybe not in the hand, but when you're playing Uno, they kind of go into the middle. In play, have been played.
Yeah, we need like a field of play.
I like that.
I like the idea of having.
We could call it the landscape.
I think certainly. I think definitely having. I like the idea of limiting the amount of players, and I think maybe getting a slightly inconvenient number, such as 3 players.
We should make it a 3-player. No, I think that's because too many games are just like 1v1, and who wants to? That's not fun.
Yeah,
you gotta have some.
There's a market for 1v1v1s.
Yeah,
Total War Warhammer.
Sorry, I don't understand the reference you're making there, Chris. What's that? What's that about?
I've just had some issues with some friends in the past trying to play that 1v1v1. You can either play 1v1 or 1v1v1v1, but apparently in between the 2 and the 4 was an impossibility for the game. Don't know why.
What about a 2v1? Just 2 people ganging up.
I feel like
that's how
the 2v1 would wouldn't the 2 people always win the 1?
No, we could give the 1 player some kind of increase, like some kind of advantage in the rules to make it more fair.
I think that might be a little complicated, and one of the things that somebody said to me was that they did want to keep the time down on the subsequent podcast after the 2-hour fiasco of the whole fruit.
Fair
thing.
enough. No, that's fair. That's fair. I understand.
I don't think it matters too much how long we go for, but they seemed very concerned about it. But I say go on for 3 hours personally.
Yeah, let's make it a long one.
Let's make it longer. Always... Is that what you're saying? We should go for 3 hours? Because
I think 3 hours sounds pretty good to me.
Oh,
I mean,
you up
no
on that
card
one.
game was built in a day.
Right. That expertly put. Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
No, you mentioned about the flooding effect sort of impacting the other cards in play.
Maybe with some sort of token.
Or is it going to be like some sort of stat impact to the object cards that we have got? Like, is it going to
I haven't even considered us having stats on the object
Well,
cards, but I
well,
like
then
the
what?
idea of
But
there
then,
being
I mean, what's the
certain.
difference between the object card and the effect card then?
Well, so the effect
The
cards.
object card has no.
I think the effect cards should be played, and then they're removed from play. They sort of represent an action being taken, whereas
They're a one-time action.
Yeah,
type
exactly.
Thing. Yeah,
so
okay.
Beyblading the whole dang sea, you don't do that every day. That
doesn't happen every day.
Oh,
No.
well, it's common. It happens fairly regularly, but it's not happening all the time.
If I
And
had
it's every Saturday morning, right?
Of course, how silly of me! I completely forgot. Yeah, no, you're right. It happens on a weekly basis, hence the common rating. So yeah, but it's not every now and then. Yeah, it's very rare that we actually get to see the Mariana Trench as presented by visionary James Cameron. So no, I think we should have a sort of permanent thing, and you can destroy the cards that are like permanent, like they sit there. Let's just call them permanents.
Yeah, similar to how the Mariana Trench destroyed visionary James Cameron. For all we know,
it did destroy him, as from what I can tell.
To be fair, the court's up on that one. He's never come back up.
He might be fine. He might be loving life out there. He might have found a mermaid.
Or a merman.
A merman. Or merman. Or merman. I'm not saying no judgment. Maybe he's just become one with his lime. Why is it lime?
I'm so sorry. I think me
got to be able to see it in the dark.
I think me eating ice.
You don't want to lose it. When
that's right. Of course, yeah. Can you imagine? You call up to the surface, like, chaps. I'm gonna be honest. I
forgot where we parked.
I've lost the submersible. Where do we go from here?
So I think definitely
up is a good word.
What stats should we give the Mariana Trench? I think durability. Maybe durability. When the durability goes to 0, it collapses in on itself, and that's how it goes out of play. Kind of having a durability
that's how it's
rating.
Defeated or overcome. Yeah, sure. That makes
that's pretty good.
Imagine the Mariana Trench is going to have a pretty hefty big one, because we've been trying to fill it in for ages to get James Cameron out, but barely made a dent in filling up that trench.
So we can have sort of size, right?
Seems to be no matter how much plastic we put down there, it seems to be able to take more and more.
It's an impressive. Okay, hardness.
What size?
Well, I was just thinking, sort of.
Is that how big the card is going to be?
Bigness, yeah, exactly.
So we're going to have different sized cards.
Well, no, they represent a different sized thing. You've got your pebbles, which are pretty small in their bigness, and then you've got the Mariana Trench, which, from what I've heard from the short stream he actually managed to put out there into the world on Twitch before he, I think he got a couple tier 3 subs and everything. It was pretty bad. But and then the big horned shark came, and I'm sure you all saw the video.
The horned.
It was pretty massive.
Shark.
It was pretty massive. I couldn't see the bottom. Could you? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd say.
But I'm just wondering. Though I agree, the Mariana Trench has a lot of bigness.
Yeah.
My question is, what is the purpose of having the bigness on the card?
Well, these are stats, aren't they?
I'm just trying to find ways to represent the kind of the characteristics of these objects that we're talking about.
Yeah. But
how does it work in your match attacks? You were going on about those earlier.
It's kind of
not to steal anything from them. But
no, I don't want to be considered a thief.
As far as I
we need
remember,
at least a bit of
they've kind of got
fair
a
use.
rating,
it's fair use. Don't worry.
And they've kind of got numbers on there, and the bigger number beats the smaller number.
Okay. Yeah.
So we could go for that, or I was thinking maybe a HP system. And then we have another kind of abilities that the card has. Well, hardiness potential.
Hardiness potential. Okay, that seems pretty good.
And basically, by utilizing different attributes that the trench has, it can reduce the hardiness, the durability of the card until it reaches 0, and then that card would be eliminated off. So, for example, with the Mariana Trench, it is filled with a load of Eldritch Horrors, so it could be Eldritch Attack, could be one of its, Eldritch Rumble, And then
Eldritch Rumble. Okay.
and
All right.
that
We'll
could-
get. So what should the hardiness potential of the Mariana Trench be?
Well, it is quite vast. I think it's got to be quite a large number.
Yeah.
1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
That's a
And
pretty big
3.
number. Yeah.
And 3,
Okay.
of course.
That can be the sort of benchmark. Maybe that might even be the highest hardiness for the first.
That could potentially, I
set
think
of
that's going
cards.
to be. We're setting an upper limit at least.
I think
Absolute-
so now that we've got
that's not the
hardiness
absolute limit.
potential, do we need hardness or are we thinking something
No.
else?
No.
What else we could have? We could have speed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because some geographic phenomena do actually move around a bit. You got your
has speed.
tidal waves and
Yeah.
lava plumes and shit.
Yeah.
We could have a speed. I mean, they will be pretty slow, I guess, but
Yeah. Until we get to the power creep, the space one.
oh yeah, exactly. I mean, the speed there is
Yeah.
just through the roof. So
Yeah.
this, I mean, I think the Mariana Trench. I correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't think it moved.
I don't think
I
there's any
don't
evidence
think it's
for or
moved.
against.
Has anyone done a leg detection on the Mariana Trench? I thought they found 0 legs.
I think it's the fact that in order to check the legs, because wasn't that what James was sent down to do, to check the legs? He never came back up. So I think the court
really? Okay.
still.
Is that what he went down for?
So I think maybe we might put this one as a not applicable, an NA kind of
Or
thing.
is it then a 0?
Well, it might be a 0. It might be like maybe it's just waiting to make its move.
Well, it could even be. It could even be a secret. We could not know the answer.
Could just be a question mark.
Yeah.
Secret.
Okay.
I like the idea of having each secret card has a secret thing.
That's
a
secret
fantastic.
stat that
That's a
you-
fantastic idea. Okay, I'm gonna differentiate the title of the card with an underline, and we're also gonna make it a slightly different color. I think we're gonna make it.
Okay.
I've got an idea. We could reflect the different. So you've got basic sort of. You got your rocks, you got your water stuff, and you got your like air stuff, and then you got your like all your lava stuff, right? So we could have like a sort of class-based system, and it could be reflected by the color of the name of the card. We could have like sort of different, and they could interact differently, right? So we could have sort of like a rock paper scissors where one beats another, but that one beats a different one, and it could sort of go around in a circle. Except fire is obviously better than all of them, I think. So I think actually fire
some
beats
kind of like advantage.
Yeah, exactly. I think fire should have advantage over everything because hot
Well,
things.
surely, but doesn't water have an advantage over fire? Because water puts out fire.
Not if you've got a lot of fire though.
What if you've got a lot of water?
That's a good point. Okay. So
But I like the concept.
water beats fire. What would fire beat? I'm starting to think fire doesn't beat anything.
Fire is both simultaneously the best and the worst.
I mean, it's good against like people, but not stuff.
I mean, it'll melt snow and ice.
But then
but
it
then
just
it
turns
turns
into
into
water.
water, which would beat the fire. Oh god. Okay, so we've got a sort of.
I'd
tree.
always think
It beats tree.
That's not.
To be fair,
Are we doing
yeah,
trees?
but doesn't
might
that
be an
just
expansion,
make
I don't
doesn't
know.
that just make coal and iron eventually? Coal and oil eventually.
What do they beat? Oh, they help fire.
They help fire.
So maybe it's like a buffing sort of deal where like
We're getting ahead. We haven't even finished the stats here, chaps. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So right, we've got bigness and speed. What other things would we have? We'd have like a sort of a fear factor, maybe.
Fear factor.
Yeah.
And I think like
Spooky.
a life factor, because then like you can have a negative.
Sure.
A life factor, I think is good. So if it has a lot of life, we can give it a high number, and if it doesn't have a lot of life, we can give it a high negative number, or a 0.
So is this how much life this thing can support as an ecosystem.
Support or destroy. Or maybe we could put those as two separate things: life and death.
Well,
Okay, we have life and
is that then how the cards or the objects interact with each other, where the life total will add to the hardiness, and the death total can subtract from
These are
another one's
fantastic.
hardiness?
Yeah. So we have like a number for its kind of ability to hurt other things, and we have a number for its ability to help other things. That's fantastic. Well, so I mean, I'd imagine the death factor of the Mariana Trench would be very, very high.
I mean, James Cameron.
Even James Cameron, a titan of film and adventure, could not survive. Okay, but equally, life would probably be quite high because it sustains so many dark, abhorrent manifestations of fear itself.
I mean,
so
as Chris said, all those eldritch beasts.
Well,
living
I
down
think
there.
life factor there's a fair few.
Yeah.
And with death factor, there's at least one.
At least one.
But the number could be in the millions.
Okay, well, so what if the death factor is actually it's like the number it takes off the hardiness potential?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it would have to be reasonably high, otherwise this game would be quite slow. You know, if you're playing two Mariana Trenches against each other, it would be
you'd be here for like 1,000 turns.
I think maybe the Mariana Trench. It seems more like I don't know whether you guys have played a small indie game called Overwatch, but in that you kind of have some things are kind of like tanks and others are kind of damage dealers.
Okay.
I just think if we have multiple cards with different functions, maybe the Mariana Trench hasn't got a big death factor, can't deal a lot of damage. But it can tank a lot of damage. And maybe big is like kind of its priority on what has to hit first. Maybe they have to get through the Mariana Trench before they can hit the other.
I like that. We can we'll come back to that. So it's got a high damage, but we want to reflect the fact that the hardiness potential of having 1,003 is a lot and would take a lot of turns. So maybe a few hundred.
Maybe. Like 100?
100. Okay, that would take 10 turns. Well, actually 11 turns because of the 3, which is very handy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's pretty good. And we could have like the Beyblading the whole dang sea would do like a significant amount of damage to a water-based card.
Yeah, and potential, and then a limited amount of damage to other types.
Okay, now we're cooking with gas now, chaps.
Yeah, we're on to something here.
So what should its life factor be?
Maybe how much?
I feel like as a rule of thumb, your life factors should always be a little bit lower than your death factors on balance of all of the cards.
I think it depends on the.
It depends on the card,
on the object.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Are
we saying the Mary Chance is more of a life giver or more of a life taker?
Well, I feel like it's got to be slightly more. I was going to say like maybe if you gave it like 115.
If we're comparing Mariana Trenches to volcanoes don't have a life.
Very
factor.
low life, maybe even 0 life. Well, no, see, that's not true. The minerals on a volcanic eruption producers are really, really useful for fertile farming.
No, we're not talking about that.
Build up around.
Yes, but it's quite a that's quite a slow process in terms of
that's after it stopped being a volcano and that's more when it's becoming a mountain.
So maybe it would be like it's a volcano say would have a life points or life factor of like 20, but then on the next turn that it's used it doubles to 40 or something like that. Maybe if when it's beaten it then becomes like igneous
turns into something.
I like this idea. God, so I like we have these stats, and at the bottom we have special ability, and each card has a different special ability when it's a object, but except for the common ones, we won't give any to the common ones.
No. I'm starting to think that maybe Beyblading the whole dang sea might be a little bit higher.
No, it's no. I've seen it so many times.
I've seen it happen. It's very
I've been
boring.
on holiday and they're like, for our next trick, for our next tourist trap attraction, we're going to Beyblade the whole dang thing. I'm like, seen it before. It's always the same with all these tours. You just see five fishermen doing the same thing to fish up a load of fish from the ocean in the background. And the guys just make a big deal of it. And you're like, big deal. There's like five other people doing it.
Man. God. Okay. So we've got some things to look at here. So we've got our life factor and our death factor.
I think we understand how they work.
Yeah, they seem to make perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Can I just go for life factor again?
We come back to.
So I think
life factor. What was life? What did you decide for life factor?
Life factor was kind of like a kind of healing aspect, or like it adds to the hardiness potential, whereas death factor removes that value from the hardiness potential, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it's
I think Spookitube for the next one. If you go up, I think maybe that's how. I think when you have something that is fearful, I think really the main thing that you want to do is you want to we can either go two ways. You want to avoid, it's a fight or flight response. Either everyone wants to attack it or everyone wants to run away from it.
I like that. Yeah, okay. So the spookiness of the Mariana Trench makes it.
Maybe we could have different, say, stances for the card. So if you play the card one way, like face up, like portrait, it will mean that like people are going to try and avoid it. But if you put it landscape, like put it on its side, maybe then it becomes more defensive, and maybe that's like when people want to attack it. So then you've kind of got some variation in how you use your card. Not just about playing your card. Yeah,
that's very good. I like that.
So we have to.
And that directly impacts the spookiness factor.
Yeah. So we could have two spookiness numbers simultaneously. So we could have poop scary as like the highest level.
Yeah, for when it can be seen, or when you know what it is.
And then we have
or when you don't know what it is.
We have the other one, which is, and this is precisely what happened to Visionary James Cameron, is that it was kind of enticing and almost daring him to investigate, and of course that was his downfall. So we have
enticing. I think is it'll be a good word to teach the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Add some vocabulary and all that sort of.
Along with poop scary.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay. What else?
Now,
What else? Now, do we think that's enough? Speediness. Yeah. What do we do with speediness?
I think
so speediness. I think that's got to be like an interaction hierarchy, like an order of a quicker thing. Attack. A quick thing gets to do its thing, but like acts faster than a slower.
Okay. And
so
how does
pebbles and stones? They'd be pretty quick because they're quite small.
Okay. Yeah.
Quick acting.
And I always find, every time you try and like pick up a pebble, it just scuttles off before you can. It's so annoying. So definitely no. Yeah. So how does a speediness of question mark interact with that rule system?
I think that question mark. If we never give question mark to lifeness, deafness, and hardiness, and we leave it at bigness, speediness, and spookiness.
Yeah.
Maybe it is you get to decide what you want the speediness to be.
I was thinking maybe you, when you play it, you give it a number, and it can be that number forever.
So it's kind of like
or maybe if we do give it to deafness, lifeness, or hardness in the feature at the bottom or the ability, maybe we'll put like it can't be more than this or it can't be less than this or a certain thing.
Yeah.
Right. So
are
we happy with the stats block? Is that going to be our sort of default list of stats? Are we missing anything else off maybe?
I think 6 stats is enough. I think
That's
that's
a lot
good.
of stats. Yeah, it's good.
I think
Okay.
they do their different things. I think we just need to establish bigness.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
of course. So
Now
so bigness.
you mentioned about having a landscape earlier, like
Right.
like
Yes.
when we were talking about a field of play,
Yep. Okay.
and I like that idea. I like the idea of calling it a landscape. And I was thinking maybe if a bigger thing takes up more space in the
Right.
landscape, so
Okay.
limits that, like if we have a limiting size,
Yes. Okay.
and then a
Mhm.
bigger thing will take up more. So you can have fewer. You can have a few big things, or lots of little things, or a mixture of the two.
So we could say, let's say like you could have 10 slots in your kind of
Yeah.
your landscape.
And then maybe you have like you have half, well, adding some fractions here, 0.5, 1,
I
2,
think
3.
a big thing needs to take up 5/7.
5/7 of a single 5/7 of.
No,
Oh yeah, we could do it.
Five,
No,
five.
we could do it as just every single bigness rating is just a fraction of the total landscape, and you have to that encourages maths, and it's another.
Yeah.
So we've got the addition and subtraction with the liveness, deathness, and hardiness potential, and then we can have with the bigness we can have a sort of idea of teaching the kids fractions and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think a
So
quarter for the Mariana Trench is a.
I think 5/7.
5/7 feels very big.
5/7
I think it's
very
a big
big
thing, the Mariana
It's
Trench.
pretty big.
I'm thinking like if we were to have tectonic plates as a feature.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like the Mariana Trench in comparison is quite small.
So I don't think I don't think we want to do it as a literal sense of proportional. We don't want it perfectly proportional, because then you could play like 1,000,000 pebbles versus 1 Mariana Trench, which I think is challenging.
I think a half, maybe.
Half, okay.
Half.
So it's going to take. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think
I feel like this is just a bit. I think it's a bit too straight edge to the number.
Be that.
Actually, I like that it's written.
Okay.
It's also some English for teaching as well.
Yeah, exactly. You got to cover everything.
I think the feature for the Mariana Trench is that its bigness factor is ignored for other water. Water geological features.
So if you're playing other water features, the space that the Mariana Trench
thinking
takes
kind
up
of like
is not
with match attack.
Added to your.
For match attack.
Yeah, so
I've heard that Aston Villa's not going to be in the next edition of Match Attack next year because
they decided they weren't good enough. All the stuff competitively speaking, it wasn't really viable. So.
From what I hear, basically when you're collecting your match attacks, you want, like, the goal is some people want to just fill in a certain team. Maybe by having cards that kind of interact with each other within certain groups, that will encourage people to collect that section of cards.
I think that's very good. Yeah. Okay.
So you want something along the lines of when the Marianas Trench is played with other water geological features, its bigness does not count towards your total.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like the idea that the. So I think we're incorporating some English elements, but I think maybe we could make the traits somewhat cryptic and have them spelled in a sort of non-conventional style, meaning that it encourages kids to understand how they're spelled incorrectly, and that way they learn about spelling as well, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to mislead children in how the words are spelled.
Well, we're already doing a lot of misleading of children.
For them to, well, I mean, they're more likely to end up gambling later on in life, and that can only be beneficial for us, really.
Yeah, well, of course. We would just have to. It's up to us to make more gambling style.
I think that
businesses.
I'm pretty sure there is a direct correlation between literacy and gambling.
Yeah.
This is Jamie jumping out of character here. Just want to make sure everyone knows that was a joke.
No, that wasn't a joke. He says it a lot off camera.
Don't want to have that go on record.
Yeah,
inevitably will anyway.
Of course.
Yeah, we'll cut that section out just to make sure nobody gets the wrong idea on Jamie's stance. And they can leave it up to interpretation.
Okay, so
So
we've got a general concept for object cards, I think.
Yeah, so I've written the
we
trait
talked-
now.
I'm just
so
saying
just for
that with literacy,
Yeah.
don't we want it to be? I thought literacy was proportional to the gambling, or is it lack of literacy is proportional to the
So yeah,
I think it was lack of literacy.
Yes,
Oh.
that's correct, I believe.
But
a strong stance, and I can't believe you take that so seriously. Very controversial. I wonder how people are going to react to that one.
But so we have a general concept for object cards. You know, we briefly talked about, say, like a volcano having. We touched on that earlier, with it being probably slightly less hardy in terms of hardiness points or hardiness potential than the Marianas Trench.
Right.
I would say, and like it would probably have more death, less life.
A lot of death.
Yes, a lot of deathness. I think just to give people a bit of an idea of how these stats are going to work in case they've missed everything we've already talked about already.
I can't see how that would happen.
Now we need to sort of talk about these effect cards or action cards. So, Beyblading the whole dang sea.
Yep.
What do?
Okay, right. Well, so I think for these ones we should have a slightly. I think less stats and more just a sort of a specific description of this effect in particular, because I imagine they'll work. There's less consistency in the sort of effects that they'll have, so I don't know if we could have sort of a single block of stats for every single effect. That being said, maybe we should have something like a sort of. We still haven't figured out a cost of the cards. How are we doing the cost? That also impacts the object cards as well. So,
well, I mean,
what do you mean by cost? I mean, I think that I don't want to give cost to individual cards, or rather sell them in packs to encourage the gambling aspect.
I think he's talking about within the game mechanic.
Yes.
Oh, so like each game has kind of a. Sorry, it's just that we're doing something very new.
Yeah,
and
no,
this hasn't happened before. That like this, that's not really a concept I've heard of. Cost. Right, so I just really wanted to make sure, because I was getting confused with actual monetary. Now it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I think maybe having some sort of like monetary, maybe similar to gambling, we could have a poker kind of thing where basically people put in money and they have to bet chips in order to play their cards. And if you lose, the other person gets the cash.
You don't get to
from the chips.
So the cards will have a literal monetary value that they cost, and that sort of chips away at the pot that you've got, and all the money you've spent on the game. If you lose, that's the total that the other player takes. So the sort of you could spend a lot of money on some cards, but if you still lose despite that, then suddenly no more lunch for Timmy.
Yeah, no more lunch for Timmy. I think the Mariana Trench is very hard. Jay Cameron, he had to spend a lot of money to get to the Mariana Trench. I think this card should have quite a high cost. I think maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Cost. I think a good.
Now, I was just if we want kids to be playing
it needs to be with.
Not all.
It can't be too much.
Unless they've got their parents' credit card already on their Xbox Live account.
That's true. So maybe this should be just straight up £100.
They can spend a few thousand.
Yeah, I think we should just call that $100.
Well, I think what we want to do is, I'm seeing a problem here, and there is a very good psychological technique I know of, which is basically, since it's the early edition, kind of will do the prices low so they seem reasonable. And then as more expansions come out, we will slowly increase the price.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, so even more incentive to start with a relatively high anchoring point for the more unique and interesting cards. So I think maybe £100.
I think a good 100. That's a couple of.
I watched a seminar on microtransaction marketing, and what it helps if you
Of course.
because kids kids are dumb, so they'll see this and they'll think, oh, that's affordable.
Again, I
Knocking
don't
off
want to
that
say
one
that
penny.
kids are dumb, but please buy a game.
Saving 1 penny, always good.
Yeah,
Always
every
a
little
good way
penny,
to
every
encourage
little
more.
helps.
That's
That
a
could be the
gummy
slogan.
bear. Yeah,
I think that one's already taken.
I think.
Ah, really? Shit.
I
Alright.
think
We'll
Beyblading
work on
the
that.
whole dang sea. Whenever you Beyblade the sea, it kind of removes water from like an area. I think this has
Okay.
become less flooding and more Beyblading the whole dang sea. This is no longer a flooding situation.
So this is
I think
gonna.
maybe water units like water cards become inactive for 2 turns, and then all non-water cards get flooded. How about that?
I
So
was thinking more of a half, or any water cards are returned to the player's hand, or they're removed
I
from
like
the
that.
field.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
It does make it it makes it quite a powerful card because you've then got to pay another 99.99 to get the Mariana's Trench back out.
well,
Well,
maybe that's
yeah.
where the flooding comes in, where it becomes
Or
they return to the hand for and then 3 turns later you can for free bring back all of those cards at full health, plus you do damage to like the other cards when they come back onto the field.
To clarify, we're saying that water cards will be
returned
all
to
water cards will be put all enemy water cards.
all
removed.
all water cards.
Oh, all. Okay,
of
we'll
them.
put that in all caps just to make sure everyone's clear.
All
water cards.
All water cards
are removed from the landscape.
Is removed.
Is gone, I'd say. Is gone.
From the landscape. Upon.
1 second, where are they going? They're going to the hand.
Well, I mean, they don't necessarily have to go to your hand. They could just be kept out of the landscape for a time.
Put in the bin.
And then come back. Yeah, they could be put in the bin and then brought out of the bin.
Okay, so the bin is a literal bin.
Yeah, it's one of the it's a prerequisite to the game is you do need to play
with a bin. Yeah. And that adds a sort of a skill level to trying to play cards that have been put in the bin. Is that you have to dive into the bin and get the cards back out.
I'm thinking of a.
Yeah.
Are you?
I guess so.
From the top, chaps.
From the top. I think when you put it in the bin, I like the fact that whenever a card gets eliminated, it goes into the bin. So all water cards being removed from the bin. Then, after 3 turns, set a timer for 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, you can bring back all water cards that have gone into the bin. Either yours or your opponent's, and then we have 2 kids mad scrambling it into a bin to pull out or find the powerful water cards that have gone into the into the bin. Don't know why I keep saying graveyard. They're not real things, and
it's not graveyard. It's not alive.
Not graveyard. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Set a timer for 3 mins, and then.
Maybe it should be. I think maybe what we might want to do is 6 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes.
66 seconds.
Sure.
Because
hang on, 6 minutes and 66 seconds. Isn't that 7 minutes and 6 seconds?
No. Aren't we trying to like lower the literacy? I thought that was the idea.
Yeah, but I mean they're doing maths there.
We're
Yeah.
we're piling a lot on them.
It's kind of like the fractions, and I think also by having kind of like setting the timer for that, basically because they might not understand 6 seconds, it kind of encourages the more quick-witted of them and the smarter ones to be better at the game, because they'll be ready to go, whereas the other ones might be in the middle of their turn. And it's kind of you'd have to like consider when playing the game.
So set a timer for 6 minutes 66 seconds, and then whoever gets the cards out of the bin.
I do have one concern though, which is this seems like quite a powerful effect for a common card.
It's fine.
Okay, so maybe it should be less time.
Maybe.
Or also, we could change all to some.
Can we wrap this up a bit, please?
Yeah, sure. All right, we'll finish this card, and then we'll crack on. Okay, so whoever gets the cards out of the bin keeps them, and we'll put that in all caps as well, just to make sure that people are aware that it's permanent, and that's how the rules work. Fuck you.
Cost.
Oh, cost. And I order cost.
99 pence.
However, I'm seeing some balancing issues kind of potentially creeping up, but I think we can address that next episode. That's fine.
Exactly.
We got time. So this is 99. Right. This seems like a game, chaps.
Yeah.
I think we've developed a game.
Yeah.
We have the potential to design more cards. We will do that in the next episode.
Yeah. We're delving into all the
One second, lads. I've got on my other screen. They've been trying to give me like some news. So then apparently it's kind of after I almost just tore down the walls of the room and scratched the green paint. They've been trying to like keep my psychological mindset up enough so then I don't destroy company policy after being locked in here for what is now 4 weeks. So they've put a little bit of news kind of on the radio coming in.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's kind of like an AI making a physical retelling, so it's not too clear. What I'm currently seeing is that James Cameron has just come out of the Mariana Trench, and this is shocking, I know.
What?
But in his hands seems to be the 2 cards we've just made, along with a full set of them.
Has he beat us to it?
He's beat us to it.
Damn it.
That's what he's been doing down there the entire time.
Oh my god! But
this is why he's a visionary.
They don't call him a visionary
for
nothing. Yeah, fair enough. He really can see the future. That sneaky bastard.
Well, we'll submit this one anyway, but we won't stick around to see kind of the result of it, because it's going to be rejected just because he's
honestly,
guys,
I've got to say, constantly having to create new podcast ideas, and none of them ever get. It's getting demoralizing. I don't know how long I can keep.
At least this time, I have to say that at least the company didn't reject it. This is something outside of our control. No one could have guessed.
Nobody could have guessed.
I mean, the bookie's numbers was a 5 in 1 chance. That was what he was doing in the trench. But I thought those odds were way too high. But evidently, what do I know? And anyway, that's why maybe we weren't ready to make a gambling.
Yes, I'm coming.
I think Matt's due for another meeting. So
yeah.
I think Craggle sent his assistant in to kind of grab him. So he's got a LinkedIn. Do you want to wave and like do that, and then you can run off, and then
he's just going to do
this again.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And we'll do our adverts and such whilst he goes and sorts his
that's fine.
Personal shit out.
Perfect. Nice static background. That's good. That's fine. Okay. Well, all right. Do you want to do your sponsorship? Have you got a sponsorship for us?
Yes, I do have a sponsorship for us. Thank you very much to I don't know, I've not been able to use them because I don't wear it, but Johnson's Makeup Be Gone wipes. Basically, they're 5-in-1 moisturizing cleaning wipes. They clean, they remove waterproof makeup, they provide lasting moisture, and they smooth and soften skin.
The makeup space has really accelerated since I last had a look. I didn't know they could do waterproof makeup. That's
removes
mad.
99% of makeup, which means that watch out.
So every single time you use it,
on your 100th one, you want to wipe twice because you're going to have 1% of makeup left on from each one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that on the 100th one, you have to actually wipe twice because 1% of the time it won't remove any makeup at all.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So the second, so you'll have 2 layers of makeup that you'll have to wipe off.
Makes sense. Of course.
But yeah, it does say avoid contact with lips, so it doesn't work for lipstick. But then again, I don't think people really take off lipstick. It's not really.
I thought it was. I thought it was a sort of permanent thing.
You know what? The more I'm reading the back of this, the more I'm kind of thinking maybe I could have gotten a better sponsorship for today.
It was rushed. You're doing what you can. You're in a room with a computer that only turns on once a week. So
I don't get to choose these sponsors. The sponsors have to come approach me. It's just been a quiet week,
Sure.
Yeah. But
just
I've currently been, my twin's been streaming a little bit. They're currently sorting out a schedule, so there should be some consistency. Hopefully that will be finished today, which will be quite exciting. Which is for you guys today is going to be 2 weeks in the future, so it'll be done by the time you see this.
Well,
so
you think so? You'd think, wouldn't you? But
you think so. But yeah. We've also got. I think that's everything from me. I think, yeah. All of mine are going to be 2 weeks late now, but that's fine.
That's allowed.
What about you, Jack Owl?
Well, yeah, like you say, that's exactly it. Not going to repeat the numbers, but the links will be all in the description for all of our fun stuff. We're doing some Dungeons and Dragons podcasts. We're doing some more casual, just sort of regular old streaming. Got some podcasts in the works. Watch the space, really, I suppose.
Yeah. And I think
who knows?
The final thing is, again, like I know we talked about this last time, but something's going on with that pot character. Because again, I've been allowed to leave his room.
I think he's maybe reporting to the higher ups behind our backs.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe that's
it's quite suspicious how James Cameron kind of just so happened to come out of the Mariana Trench.
I get that he's a visionary, but come on, really?
The likelihood of that again, a 1 in 5,
1 in 5,
which is 20%.
That's so come on, not my universe.
That's improbable.
It is statistically speaking improbable. We'll be investigating this in the interim.
Yeah. Well, you will be. I will be stuck in my green box.
Cool. Well, you could have a think about it.
I'm going to be given instructions, and hopefully, I think they're going to try and sort the screen. Though I have to say that's not the priority for them. Really, just anything else would be great. But yeah, I think that's around about everything. So thank you very, very much for listening in to the podcast. I hope you had a great time. I hope the shorter podcast was a little bit more consumable, but don't worry, I will rack up those hours later because Jack Howe has promised me a 3-hour podcast now. And you all heard it on the podcast.
It's absolute canon. I can't get away from it. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon.
Take care.